one of the questions that someone submitted is around Netflix and how they're going to do better on Christmas Day. They have two games on Christmas Day,
That's right.
right? NFL games, hey, I mean, we don't have any insights, and if we did, we couldn't say it anyway. So so
There's lots of speculation, right? Lots of
there's a ton of speculation, but as I've said very publicly, shortly after the Tyson Jake Paul fight, like, look, here's the one thing that I do know and that we can all take to the bank. There's a group of incredibly smart people who are incredibly hardworking at Netflix who are doing everything possible to make sure that experience is not replicated. In other words, the less than stellar experience is not replicated on Christmas Day. That we can take to the bank. But the thing that the reason I reference Netflix and this question, the person, is I love your perspective. Is that these large platforms have grown, like you say, there's a little bit of duct tape, sometimes a lot of duct tape under the hood, and baling wire, and whatever.
and it's not a
um,
bad thing. It's not a
and
bad
it's
thing at all.
yeah, it's not a bad thing, and it's also, we have to step back and look at, we are now 15 years into a lot of these it's hard to actually like really think about it. Like, a lot of these platforms came out of the ground in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. That makes them like 15 years old, which is
They're
kind
very
of
young.
hard, which is kind of hard to believe. And then you think about the state of, how the system was built then and how it evolved over time. And when you're growing like hockey stick, and you're just running to just keep up, even if at multiple junctures throughout that period, the engineering team says, you know, gang, like this system needs to be fundamentally rebuilt or re-architected or whatever. Like, you literally cannot do it. You
Look.
can't
So
build the
yes,
plane in flight. Yeah, I mean, rebuild the plane in flight.
and that is a great way to that's a great perspective. And the reason for that is, let's go back to Netflix, right? So Netflix
Yeah.
launched an event that they had no idea was even possible to host and deliver, which was a
Yep.
60 million concurrent event.
Yep. Yep.
Blew
Yep.
every record we've ever had completely out of the
Yep.
water. They
Yep.
didn't build the Netflix architecture with that in mind at the beginning, because they were delivering VOD. And
Yeah,
so
exactly. And just remember, Jason, it's only like 3 or 4 years ago, and I won't say the senior member of the team's name, although I remember pinning him down. This would have been 2015, 2016, maybe, and saying, is Netflix going to do live? Everybody, Netflix needs to do live. And I mean, he looked at me with so much certainty, just like Reed Hastings when he said, Netflix will never have ads, and looked at me and said, Netflix will never do live. We are VOD. We're happy with that business model. It ain't going to happen. I mean, he didn't say the ain't part, but it was that definitive of an answer. And now, hello, you
no, I mean,
know, and
absolutely. And
and
what
and
net
guess what? He wasn't wrong at that time. At that time, that 100% was the correct
Sure.
and the accurate answer. Our businesses are growing, they're dynamic, they're changing, and our technical needs then,
Well, and
go with that.
that's the funny thing, right? So again, so people ask the question, what is Netflix doing better for
Yeah,
Christmas game day?
yeah,
The question is like, what did they learn from that
yeah,
experience that we as an
yeah,
industry don't know? And they learned a
yeah,
lot. They learned,
yeah, yeah.
again, delivering a live event to 60 million people. And it's funny. So we've been talking to NASA. So NASA
Yeah.
is going to stream live from the moon in 2027. Hello.
Amazing.
Like,
Yeah,
what is that? That's a global event that's not behind a paywall. Can we
yeah,
say 100 million people?
yeah, yeah.
50?
Really.
Like,
Yeah,
Netflix is teaching us. So Netflix is such a pioneer. They have taught us so much about streaming
yeah,
at scale,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
are teaching us even now. They
yeah,
basically said, "Hey, we're going to take a chance on this event." They have no idea what it's going to be like. It's going to be 30
yeah,
million, maybe 20 million people will watch it.
yeah,
Ha! There's 60 million. Holy
yeah,
crap! And
yeah,
there's so much in the way like there's ISP interconnects, there's teleport facilities and transits and ISPs and home bandwidth, all this stuff that has no bearing on delivering a signal to a cable box,
Exactly.
to a television
Exactly.
set. And so
Yeah.
they've learned so much. I'm actually really eager because they've been very good in their tech blogs to come out and
Yeah.
talk about things that hopefully someday they will talk about, like, hey, here's what happened and here's what we
Yeah.
learned. And maybe
Yeah.
that'll be, honestly, maybe that'll be post NFL Christmas Day. If Christmas Day
Could
goes
be.
off without a hitch, they'll be like, we learned,
Yeah. Yeah.
implemented, we
Yeah.
optimized. Look, we did
Yeah.
so much better. Now let's talk about what happened
Yeah.
and what we changed. And so that's,
Yeah.
that's what the SVTA is about: sharing information. We
Yeah.
cannot get better as an industry unless we share. And Netflix has
Yeah.
been so good about sharing. They recently signed their membership agreement, so they're very eager
Oh,
to
amazing. Awesome.
in
Awesome.
the SVTA.
That's
Yeah,
great.
and so it's especially when we have groups like Encoding and Packaging where they have a real
Yeah.
passion, and are
Yeah.
really looking
Yeah.
to improve, how they deliver content from an encoding perspective. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm very excited and very appreciative of companies like Netflix who are willing, to be honest, they're willing to take the risk,
Yeah.
for the rest
Sure.
of us to improve and do better.
Yeah.